Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the next podcast of mine on Back to Ancient Healing Effect of Five Natural Elements in the World. Our ancestors have told us almost 5,000, 10,000 years back about the Pancha Bhutas, which means five natural elements in the world. And science has now proved that these five elements influence the behavior of human beings, though our ancestors have told us thousands and thousands of years back. So, my life ambition is to analyze with subject matter experts these ancient methods in the YouTube so that solutions for physical and mental issues are made available. It's winter now, so we should have some kind of a jacket or a cast around us to protect us. It looks like we should have this cast around us forever. Let us see why it is so. To learn more, keep listening to this podcast till the end. To start with, I would like to analyze, if I may repeat, because I have been saying this in all my podcasts, solutions for our day to day life scenarios. In my podcast, we may not be discussing how to get liberation or moksha or salvation or such similar terms, though that's the ultimate goal. But in this podcast, we shall discuss on how does a common man like me resolve or behave in a better way every day to become a better person and live happily always. The Panchabhutas are the basic elements that make up any living organisms on earth or anywhere else in the universe. The Panchabhutas are not mere elements but divine entities. Honoring these elements teaches us thus the profound lesson of living in harmony with the cosmos. Ancestors told us that by aligning with these elements, we can enhance our personal growth, manifest our desires more effectively. Do you think that these are relevant to today's world, to a common man like me and you? To answer this question, I decided that a subject matter expert who has knowledge and experience on this subject should share to those who are listening to this podcast. So I decided to have a podcast with Miss Hemalata Raghavan. Welcome, Hema, and thank you so much for agreeing to participate in this podcast and share with us the knowledge on these five natural elements which enable a common man like me to attract happy and contented life. So let me introduce Hema. For 25 years, Hema has been working in the IT field and she's a director in an US based company working from Bangalore, India. But her true journey began 15 years ago when she stepped onto the yoga mat. Since then, yoga has become much more than a practice. It was a way of living, observing, and evolving. See, she's herself as an aspiring yogi, always in the path, always learning, always unfolding. She is deeply inspired by spiritual teachings, yogic scriptures, and the wisdom they offer on every aspect of life, be it body, mind, food, habits, daily routine, lifestyle. Though she's still working in the IT industry, and that's her passion there too. Through this podcast, she loves to share reflections from this blend of life. When I'm saying blend of life, in the sense she's still working in an outside in an IT world, in a in a professional work, but also she blends her life with technology, yoga, spirituality, and creativity. So we are lucky to have a person like her in today's broadcast. Hema, me and my wife still remember the time we spent in your house last year, which is in a green belt near Bangalore, with lots of trees and greenery around the houses. And when we went for a walk, I still remember such a beautiful, fresh air and all green everywhere and a nice weather and all that. Now that reminds me of a story of a sad man sitting near a river. So he was sitting in a river on a rock near a river, and he was almost very sad and he was almost crying. An elderly lady walked by and she saw this sad man and said, "Look, man, you are young. What is happening? Why are you so sad and crying?" He said, "No, I lost all money. No, no, I don't have any relatives, and no relatives wants to come near me. And I don't have money, and I don't know what to do. I feel very sad." The lady smiled and asked that young person, "Where are you sitting?" He said, "I'm sitting on a rock. So the rock is held by the earth, right?" He said, "Yeah. So you should be thankful to the earth for holding you to sit." The young man was little surprised. Then he said, "When you feel thirsty, what do you do?" The man said, "Yeah, I just go to the river, drink water, and then so does the river charges you for that?" He said, "No. You shouldn't be thankful and be happy with the river. Are you breathing?" Then the young man said, "Yes, of course I'm breathing and nice fresh air, near the river and all that." He said, "So that means you are getting a free air, free water, a free sitting place, and beautiful sky to look at. So all these things, or you are getting it free and you are enjoying it. Don't you think you should be thankful to them and be happy?" Something stuck in the young man and said, "Yeah, we human beings always think of what we don't have rather than what we have. Yes, I think I should change myself." She said, "Okay, I'm now going to the next village. I'll come back after 10 days and tell me what you've done with your life." So after 10 days, after 10 days, the lady comes back and sees the young man so happy. What he has done is he has planted seeds on the ground, poured water on that, and with fresh air, a lot of fruits have grown, and he started selling the fruits and became a happy man. So to start with, we would like to the human beings always think of what we don't have rather than what we have. And these five elements are freely available in the earth, and we should be thankful to them. That's what our ancestors have told us. So this today's podcast is on how we should be thankful to these five elements, which are available almost free by the universe, or God, if you may believe in God. So before I spend more time on my sharings. So to start with, Hema, I would like to start with my first question. Why understanding the five elements is important to a common man like me? It's all yours, Hema.
Okay, so let me start with some questions. Okay, I think that will be easier for people to reflect and then understand why this is important. Um, the first question is: have you gone out in a day, the whole day in a crowd with a lot of people, like an event happening, and you're busy, and then you come home and take a warm shower, or a regular shower, and how do you feel, right? Uh, I mean, I would
Oh,
let you some
yeah,
time. How do you feel about the energy after a shower?
I
Or,
tell yeah.
yeah, sorry.
So I tell you, I feel so relaxed. Especially, in my childhood, I used to think why people are taking a shower in the evening, because we are so, accustomed to take in the morning. Then I realized that, it gives me a fresher, full of more energy and all that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Another question will be: have you ever decluttered your room or your house? Say, even when you don't shift or when you shift, get rid of, a lot of things that you don't want, you've accumulated, and then, you're just done with it. How do you feel about it?
Thank God my wife is not around me. Otherwise, she would should have said yes. I have clutters in my room, and once in a while she comes and then shouts at me and says, "Can you please keep this clean and all that?" Yes, it happens.
Yeah. And last question would be: have you been, in a terrace to see the night sky, open night sky, or rarely looked into like the blue sky when you go on a long drive? How do you feel when you
Yeah,
see such
not
a beautiful
Yeah,
sky?
not in my house. I can't go to my, terrace and look at the sky. But yes, I do step out. But it all depends on the weather. But yes, when I go on a long drive, beautiful. Yeah, I do look up the sky and I really enjoy it. And that's where I am more calm and blissful, I would say.
Right. So to answer your question on why a common man should know is, he has to be aware that he is fundamentally made of these five elements. Everything in this world is made from these five elements. And these, whether the food that we eat is earth, it comes from the earth, the water that we drink is water, the air that we breathe is wind, the space that we stay, right? Like whether, we are in a very small apartment with no good fresh air or in a white space. So everything about these five elements is what we are. We are no different from nature. We are no different from these five elements, and we are made of these five elements. So what we need to be as a common man is that we be conscious that these five elements play a very crucial role in your health, physical health, mental health, in your mood, in your energy, in the very way you feel, right? And being conscious of this and doing few daily activities mindfully will make a big difference for a common man.
I
So
would like
that's
to
the
underline that word consciously. That's where, people like me, sometimes we forget and, we think that, okay, it's all coming because I have earned money and so that's how I can easily buy things from outside and all that. But when it is available so free and all that. Now, you're mentioning about five elements. Is that all the five elements should I, be more conscious of, or can I choose one at a time and then go ahead?
So one interesting thing that you can do is you can take some few minutes in a day to reflect on how you feel, right? Like for example, there are days we feel emotionally very unstable, but the rest should be okay. Then there are days where we feel very irritable and angry, like a little, not in a great pleasant mood. Then there are days where we feel very grounded, stable. So these five elements are related to how we feel. For example, I mean, I don't go in depth because of we have constraint on time. The earth element is lot to do with how we feel. Like we feel grounded, we feel stable, and when this goes out of balance, we feel very insecure. Those are the feelings that we have. With water is connected to a flow, like water flows, so it's a lot to do with emotions, it's a lot to do with adaptability. Wherever water goes, it adapts itself, right? Like,
Oh,
so how adaptable am I to situations in the world, how flexible I am, these are related to water. And fire, a lot to do with digestion. How do I feel? Fire is often, I would say, related to competition, the goal, the go-getter. And balance, imbalance of fire might be related to feeling of not included, not belonging, to a particular set of people or the home, whatever it is. So to answer your question, we have to reflect and see how we feel. And whatever we feel we go through is directly connected to an imbalance in one of these five elements. And being aware of it and mindfully doing few practices will make a big difference. So we don't have to be, if it will be great if we can take one day and be exposed to all the five elements consciously. However, in a daily day-to-day life where we are busy with work and we juggle multiple things, it'll be
yeah.
good to reflect on how do I feel today, and then accordingly work on that particular element, one or two or more elements also.
So, if I understood well, first thing is I think we should be conscious of these five elements that the universe or God has given us. That's we should be careful, and we are very much related to each one of them. The only problem is, we are not, we don't recall or remember or try to understand that. All our physical and mental issues are all related to these five elements. And once we are balanced, and then we should be happy and all that. You were talking about practices. See, as you are also in a professional world, that every day there's so much tension, there's so much pressure with kids. You have two kids, and with husband, and with all the people around you, relatives and all that. And I'm very happy to know that you're taking care of your mother too. With all these people around you, how do we incorporate practices day to day practice. That's why I always mentioning that my podcast is on for a common man. What is the day to day, relevance and what he should do and all that. Can you share with us how to incorporate practices that enhances your connection to these each element?
Sure. Now, to answer this point of, how do I take care of so many people, I have always believed that when I am healthy, when I'm happy, when I am joyful, when I'm energetic, I'm able to share that with others, right? So one has to take care of ourselves or oneself in order to be able to do all these, day-to-day work and taking care of multiple people, whether it's children or old people. So everybody has to set aside a certain amount of time in a day for self-care, routine, or taking care of yourself, your body, your mind. That is definitely something one has to plan, and for example, I can give an example for each element. For example, let's take earth, right? Like if you are, say you have a house and you have a garden, walking on barefoot in the morning in the cool grass, or
Oh,
uh, for a long time, it'll just going around, or even walking barefoot uh, in the grass in a garden will do a big difference. Now, say you don't have a house and you are in an apartment, right? How do we do it? You could have small pots. You can do gardening. You can use a terrace space to grow your own herbs. You can use your hands, and gardening is an amazing hobby which brings a lot of this earth and water, and most of all the five elements. When you do gardening, you touch all the five, right? You touch water, you are in a space, and there's fresh air around you. And so those are the ways you do manage the earth element. When it comes to water, having when you drink water, most of us are drinking thinking about work or doing looking into the phone. So
yeah.
looking into the water, having gratitude, preferably from a copper cup or a bottle, and just having that gratitude, looking into it and drinking makes so much of difference. It's been proven scientifically that water carries memory. It remembers. Water has huge amount of memory. And then when it comes to fire, you should definitely not miss the morning sun rays. Sit in a balcony if you don't have a big house. Sit for a few seconds, and morning sun rays are very, very good for your skin. You can also light a lamp in the evening, to see how the energy is around a lamp or a candle in the evening. These are small practices which will make a big difference. When it comes to the wind, definitely doing pranayama. So pranayama translates to the practice of breathing, conscious breathing. There are beautiful pranayama practices that will help you to kind of balance the wind inside you. And then finally, for the space or the ether element, sitting still. If you think you cannot meditate because you don't have time, sitting calmly in one place for 2 to even 3 minutes, right? By your own self will make a big difference. So I have highlighted very few examples in whatever I told you, but if you go to internet, there are a lot of amazing practices that you can do, where you can even combine three or four. Like for example, going on a beach, you get to be with the water, you get to be with the mud, you get to be with the space, you get to be with the wind. So going to a beach is something, you get a five in one kind of an experience. So these are the things that you could do, and take time, soak in, take care of yourself, feel energized, and then things will automatically fall in place in a day, I guess.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So, I mean, ancestors have told us about this, especially walking barefoot. I still remember my grandfather telling me that, but I used to say, "Oh, come on, my legs will hurt." But ancestors have told us we didn't follow. And science today is proving that that's the best way of doing it, even for a few minutes. And that's one thing. And second thing is water. You told us, I still remember, in the when I was a small child and I used to go to my native village, my grandfathers used to tell that, they used to chant something in the water, or even now you can say thank you water. Very simple. You need not say any complicated chants and all that. Just simply say thank you water, I love you, and all that. Dr. Masuro Emoto, he's a Japanese scientist. He has proved, I think you can, listeners in the podcast can go to the Google, and you can search for this Japanese scientist who has proved that by passing positive words, the water becomes more energetic, and when you drink that. And he also, Dr. Hewland, who's talked about Ho'oponopono, talked about the blue glass bottle, where he fills up fresh water in the blue colored glass bottle, and keep it outside in the sun. And at the end of the day, you can drink it, or after 2 hours, you can drink it, and all that. So again, science is proving it now, what people have told us and all that. And science again today has been telling us, go for a walk, go walking, and all that. So what you've said really justifies, that these five elements are very, very important to us. And conscious. You should be conscious. That's where it is, that we are all busy and all that. And that reminds me of when you said that sit calmly and all that. With my grandchildren are running around me, it'll be very difficult, but still I am trying to practice how to
Yeah.
be calm.
Maybe
It is
before you go
possible.
to sleep, just sit for 2 to 3 minutes before you lie down. I mean,
Okay.
some practice or the other. And
Yeah.
just to mention, in yoga, there is a practice called Bhuta Shuddhi, where it's a I would say 15 minutes procedure where you sit and touch water and earth, and you do breathing. So it's a conscious process where you are having gratitude and you connect with all the five elements. There's also one level above called Bhuta Siddhi, which is a mastery over the five elements, which advanced yogis have had. I mean, I don't want to go into details. I mean, I'm sure if anybody is interested, they can go and do a lot of reading about it. But those practices also, if say you're in a place where you don't have access, just sitting and doing this Bhuta Shuddhi practice, it's available. I think in any yoga class you can easily learn. It's a great way to connect with all the five elements.
So the bhuta means all these five elements, right? That's
Five
what it
elements.
is. So
Yeah.
making use of them, right? Recognizing they are freely available, and then making
Yeah.
use of them into thing. If I
That's
may
it. Yeah.
ask you, what is your daily practice, which makes you more connected to these five elements?
So what I do is I usually I do some kind of an exercise every day, right? It could be walking, one day swimming, and then I do yoga. I do yoga also. I do pranayama. I do some kriya practices as well, right? And the first thing that I try to have is shower in the morning, right? And not cold, very cold, but not hot, something which energizes you. And then definitely walking among the trees and going for a long walk around a lake, that practice. Then I also light a lamp through the day. Initially I used to do only in the evening, but I found that it gives so much of energy and beautiful setup, right? So I do light lamps wherever I can, and then keeping the windows in the house open. I always keep them consciously open during sun part of the day so that there's fresh air coming in, sunlight
Lovely.
coming in. Those are the things. And then I think I covered most of it. Yeah. For space, yeah, I definitely sit for some Atma Dhyana kind of practices where you just sit on the floor and you're just calm and silent and just observe your breathing. These are very simple practices. You can start with small practices, and then once you love the experience, I'm sure it'll take you to bigger heights.
Yeah,
implementation.
this is in spite of the number of calls you get, number of meetings you have. Because why I'm saying this is the fourth week that we got postponed. We are supposed to do these podcasts long time back. You are so busy in your professional work that at least today you were able to find time to do that. In spite of this,
And
you are still practicing all this and all that. Now
I
that
know.
reminds. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Mhm. Sorry. Yeah.
So that reminds me, like, I do have an alarm set up in my phone to remind me that I have to take tablets, because sometimes I forget taking tablets. Can we set up such alarms also for, hey, you have to go for a walk, what come may, hey, you have to open the windows. This is a wonderful suggestion you gave. Many of us, the whole house is shut, and we don't get a fresh air. And of course we say, hey, the AC is running on, but that's it's not natural, it's an artificial one. Whereas keep the doors open, I think. Thank you so much, that's a wonderful idea. At least for half an hour or 1 hour, it'll give you fresh air and all that. And then you were talking about lighting a lamp. I hope it is not electric bulb or electric lamp and all that.
No. This is, you can use ghee, you can use sesame oil, or you can use candles. This is not anything specific to a specific culture or religion. Wherever you are able to use natural substances and light a lamp, I'm sure each of us have been so sensitive to observe what kind of energy and beautiful, the surrounding it gives. So we should do that. And opening windows, I'm sure not everybody in every country, the weather is different, the climate changes. So it's just about, just modifying certain things here and there, to bring that five elements in. In fact, in certain houses, say you're going to build a house or moving in, being conscious to bring all these five inside the house will do extremely good for the health, mental and physical health of the people in there, right? I mean, big windows for the light and the wind, and then you can have a water body inside the house if you can afford it. A small place where you have water with some fishes, whatever is possible, or can have an aquarium. Uh, and then a lot of ceiling, big ceiling, so that you have enough space inside. I mean, all these can be very beautifully incorporated.
And some people have also keep plants inside the house.
Inside the house, yes. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that indoor plants, they add beauty, they add fresh air, they add great energy. It's a great way to bring in nature inside the house. Right.
Lovely. So that reminds me of the lighting the lamp. I think we are planning to do another podcast on aroma, the theory of it and all that. That would be great. How the whole house, the atmosphere, is so cool and beautiful and all. Thank you. I will have that. So we are short of time. So one last question before we leave: what are the take-home points for the audience who's listening to the podcast? Yeah, summarization, what I would say that.
One big message I would definitely say is, in today's world, we do feel sometimes anxious, sometimes worried, sometimes pressurized, we feel disconnected, and then we seek solutions to it. We go into sometimes medicine, then other therapies, alternate medicine, and then we try to fix it. I would say flipping the whole equation, saying start with balancing yourself, right? This is the most important thing that you can do to yourself, is your self care, right? Taking care of yourself, your body and mind is the most important thing, right, before you venture into the world, in the daily life. Now, once you take care of that, you will see that in the equation, this comes first, self care with all the five elements balancing. And then you will observe that with these happening, you will feel less anxious, less moody, less irritable, you'll feel more calmer, and then you have a healthy life. So, I think that that's one message that I would definitely think. I have been trying to practice this as well, not just because I'm sharing, it's not that I've mastered anything. There are days where I do struggle, and then I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is what I need to do. So this avoids unnecessary medicine. and also make sure that we all plan and we earn a very healthy and happy life.
Is that how you always look so smiling and healthy always?
I do have my bad days. I do have my bad moods,
I
but
know.
yeah, but I do make sure that I conscious. I do Bhuta Shuddhi. I learned it from my guru. So it's a 15 minutes practice where you sit with the five elements and you talk to them. You have gratitude towards them, and it makes a lot of difference. You know.
Thank you so much, Hema, for the funds of information you provided us. I'm sure you would love to help those who would like to get more information and then align themselves with the five elements of the universe. I'm sure you'll be glad to provide that information. Dear audience, thank you for listening to this podcast. You could give you a thumbs up to this video and also subscribe to my channel. We have provided my email ID as well as Hema's email ID in the next slide. So you can always, send her an email or to me, my email. And if you need to know more information on this, five elements that can help you in your life to be always happy. Uh, and so, love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. Satya Sai Baba has said this. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you.